Hello, this story is called Tom Goes to Kindergarten. It's written by Margaret Wilde and David Legg. This is a great book to read on the first day of kindergarten, and it's also a nice book to have even for grade 1 or grade 2. Just talking about going to school, what the first day is going to be like, if you're going to a new school. Perhaps a student in your class is from a private school. There's not as many students in one classroom, and now all of a sudden they're in a public school and there's a lot more. Obviously, this is a great book to read to preschoolers, the big anticipation of kindergarten. And I really like this book because the focus actually shifts to the parents. There's a child inside all of us. Let that child play. There they are, front row center for story time. Tom goes to kindergarten. Every day, Tom and his mother and baby went past kindergarten on their morning walk. "That'll be you soon," Tom said his mother. And Tom thought, yes, that's me building a spaceship. That's me being a king. That's me making a monster. When they got home, Tom wanted his mother to be an astronaut or a princess or a googly monster. But first, she had laundry to hang up, plants to water, and dishes to wash. So Tom was a googly monster, and he dressed baby up like a princess. When his father came home from work, Tom jumped on him and said, "Let's play spaceships." His father said, "In a while," because first he had to take out the recycling bin, cook dinner, and iron some shirts. So Tom was an astronaut, and baby was a creature from outer space. One morning, at long last, it was time for Tom to go to kindergarten. "Yes," Tom said. The whole family went with him to kindergarten. Tom pushed open the gate, leapt up the stairs, and there, waiting for him, was Mrs. Polar Bear. Mrs. Polar Bear showed Tom where to put his backpack, and she found him 2 new friends. Tom hugged his father, kissed his mother 3 times, hugged his father again. "Have a good time, Tom," said his father. "I'll come get you later this afternoon," said his mother. And suddenly, Tom didn't want them to leave. He grabbed his father's left leg, he grabbed his mother's right leg, and wouldn't let go. Mrs. Polar Bear said, "If you like, Mr. and Mrs. Panda, you can stay for today." Well, said Tom's mother. Said Tom's father. "Yes, please," said Tom. So his father and mother and baby stayed for the day. They played in the sandbox. They played in the dress-up corner. They painted a picture, listened to a story, and they even danced to "I'm a little teapot, short and stout." In the afternoon, they raced home to put their paintings on the fridge. And when dinner was over, they turned the dining room table into a castle. "Do you like kindergarten, Tom?" asked his mother. "I love kindergarten," said Tom. "Me too," said his father. And "Me too," said his mother, but she spoke so softly only baby heard. The next day at kindergarten, Mom Tom hugged his father, kissed his mother 3 times, and then hugged his father again. "Goodbye, Daddy and Mommy and Baby," said Tom, but they didn't want to go. "Don't you want to grab my left leg?" asked Tom's father. "Don't you want to grab my right leg?" asked Tom's mother. "No," said Tom, and he skipped away to see what Mrs. Polar Bear was doing. Tom's mother and father and Baby skipped after him. "We're going to make sailor hats today," said Mrs. Polar Bear. "Won't that be fun?" "Yes," said Tom. "Yes," said his father. "Yes," said his mother. And they all hurried over to the dress-up corner to find some baggy pants and sailor scarves. "Don't you have to go to work?" asked Mrs. Polar Bear. Said Tom's mother. Well, said Tom's father. And they took off their baggy trousers, and they took off their sailor scarves. "Goodbye, Daddy and Mommy and Baby," said Tom, feeling sorry for them. Tom's mother went home and paid the bills and washed the windows, weeded the garden. Tom's father went to the office and signed a lot of papers, and made a lot of phone calls. And then Tom's mother and Baby made a spaceship. Baby was an excellent pirate. And Tom's father closed the office door, made himself a sailor hat, sang a sailor song, and hurried home to find out what Tom had done in kindergarten that day. I really love this book again because the focus shifts to the parents, creativity. I really like the anticipation of the family going for a walk. They're always passing by the school. That's going to be you. Kindergarten's coming up, and look, there's the baby sibling. The baby knows that's going to be the baby too someday, going off to kindergarten, living vicariously through others, all those hopes and dreams, watching other children pretending to build spaceships, being kings, making monsters. And I like how Tom brings those ideas right at home. I love this paper hat. These are inexpensive things that you can find around the house. Just using a blanket, maybe borrowing some of Mom's costume jewelry, using the imagination. You don't have to spend a lot of money. The parents were busy. They weren't making time to be creative, using play. Of course, parents have responsibilities, but here's Tom playing by himself, again, using a box to make a spaceship, putting rain boots on for special astronaut boots. The baby's pretending to be a monster. This is some kind of meal, but pretending to be monster goop or something like that. And just quickly, back to the astronaut outfit, here's a backpack that he's using his imagination to be creative with. The anticipation of school, meeting the teacher. This is very brave of Tom. It's a big deal. And I like this, waiting for him. Mrs. Polar Bear knew Tom was coming. It's very typical for students to have confidence, and then all of a sudden the parents are leaving and they start to feel scared. I've seen the miracle over and over again. A lot of students do cry, anywhere from 2 seconds to 2 minutes, and it's over. Of course, you don't want to leave when your child's crying. However, it really is the best thing for you to do, because you're sending them a message that you believe in them and they can do this. They're ready for it, and you're going to leave. When you don't leave, you're sending them a message that maybe they can't do this. In those situations, I usually just say, you know what, why don't you try again tomorrow? It's okay having the parents stay for the first bit. In this book, Mrs. Polar Bear offered for the parents to stay for the whole day, which was a really nice idea. And what ended up happening was the parents were hesitant, like, well, you know, they don't really want to stay in kindergarten. You know, it's not just because they have other things to do. They want to get back to their adult life. And what ends up happening, the parents end up having a lot of fun. And I love when they go home, they race home to put their pictures they painted on the fridge. And I love here the parents singing in the classroom, I'm a little teapot. And I just can't laugh out enough over the parents here sitting front row center. And in between them, you can see another bear, and there's another one, you know, like, and try and put the tall people in the back, and you think the parents would, you know, sit in the back or sit on the chair, but they're right there in the front. Again, going back to using the imagination, the parents, they go home and they're not rushing to do all those parent things that they have to do, like ironing clothes. They make their dinner, and then they turn the table into a castle. And I love this picture of the dad. He has a box on too, and they've got a garbage can lid. And, you know, the emphasis is like, you know, Tom, did you have a nice day at school? And, you know, it's like they had a really nice day too at kindergarten. And then it's just hilarious when the parents, you know, they skip off to following Tom. And they're excited to make sailor hats. And then it's like, yeah, I guess we gotta get back to our adult life now. And I love this picture of Mrs. Polar Bear, or not Mrs. Polar Bear, Tom's parent, his mom, because she looks so sad, like she wishes she could play. And Tom's dad too, you know, work just seems a lot longer. And I love how the expression on their faces change. They're so happy and liberated through play, pretending to be on a ship, again using items from around the house. And I love the father closing the office door, making a sailor hat, singing sailor songs, and all of a sudden it's like he looks at the clock and, you know what, his boy's coming home from kindergarten and he races home. Lots to talk about, and I hope you enjoyed.